Yeah.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So for today, we will be presenting about the electricity meter, traditional and smart metering. Yeah. So we are consist of 4 people in a group, which is Salman, myself, Yusuf, Zarid Hakim, and also Faris Nasri. So we will start now. For the introduction, so I will tell you that nowadays Malaysia is developing, and alongside with that, also the demand for electricity is also increasing. So we don't know whether the power will be channeled to which customer and which customer. So this electricity meter is a uh, very important equipment in the distribution system to check the power usage for either customer from commercials, industry, or residents. And usually for the industry, there is also 2 meters, which is power meter and the reactive power meter for the checking of power factor. So for the electricity meter, usually there is 2 main function. That is to measure electrical power consumed, and of course for billing purposes. So I pass to the next person.
All right, thank you, Yusuf. Okay, I will continue for the type of electric meter. Okay, as we all know, electrical meter has a 3 types, and also they can come in a different design in terms of shape, size, but has the same function or purpose, which is to measure electrical energy in the kilowatt hour (kWh). And also, we also know that electricity meter can be in a analog electric meter, digital electric meter, and the last one is a smart electric meter, the most advanced. Okay, I will continue. Next. All right, the first one is the analog electric meter. So as you can see on the left side of the picture is a analog electric meter. This meter is enclosed in a glass housing and has a spinning metal disc below the scale, below the 4 scale of meter. Okay, for the scaler, it can be 4 or 5 scales, and also each scale has a needle to point at which number the electrical usage has been used. And also for the rotation disc, as you can see, it can spin faster during the daytime compared to the nighttime, as we use more electrical in the daytime. Alright, the next one will be digital electric meter. Okay, the difference between the difference that we can compare with the previous analog electric meter is the LCD screen. So you can see the digital electric meter is the more modern and generally better compared to the electric meter due to it's more user friendly, as user can see it more easily and on how much that they have spent during the electrical consumption. The major difference between the analog and digital electric meter is that the previous electric meter using only the scale, while the digital electric meter only use LCD, and it show really accurate data on how electrical consumption that had been used. And this the value that they show on the LCD screen will be in the kWh, which is kilowatt hour. As you can see at the display is a small font small of the kWh. And also for this digital, in order to use the digital electric meter, we need to use an analog to digital converter ADC in order to display the value in a digital way. And also the digital electric meter is the most complex, as it's more advanced compared to the analog meter. as it involves several electronic and logic components in order to make this type of meter. Right, the next one is the smart electric meter. Okay, the smart electric meter is same like the previous digital electric. The only difference between the smart and digital meter is that the smart we can view using mobile phone or computer, while the digital electric meter is that we can only see it at the outside of the house. Okay, you can see that the smart meter is an advanced meter and replacement for digital electric meter, like what I said before. And by using this meter, consumer can track their own electricity consumption or using only smart device or computer via online website or on mobile application. In Malaysia, we can view it on the TNB application. Unlike the previous meter, meaning the analog and digital meter, it requires TNB staff reader to come to each house to do the estimation electrical consumption on the monthly basis on every year. So by using this smart electric meter, the staff doesn't need to come to each house to do that. And the advantage using this meter is that it provides more accurate electrical bill, easy to track using smart devices, and can save money on electric bill because once we know that how much we have spent during 1 month, and then the next month we'll try to reduce it because more meaning more bill need to pay. Okay, for the next part will be under Mr. Zarif.
Okay, so for the connection of electric meter, firstly the electric meter anatomy. So there is a center neutral bus bar and 2 hot wire connection points for the incoming, which is line and outgoing load wires. The incoming overhead feeder wire descending from the weatherhead arrive into the meter through a metal mask. Then connect to the top 2 hot connection points, which is the line connection via terminal load connection. The load connection point is the portion of the meter that feeds the main service panel or the electrical disconnect. As with the line connection, the load connection has 2 hot feeds as well as a center neutral connection. Next is connecting the feed hot wires. The technician will bring the service wires down from overhead into the meter box through an underground feed. With the meter box open and the service wires shut off, the technician will strip 2 hot wires or attach collars that allow the wires to be bolt on, then attach them into their designated terminal. For wiring load side of meter, the load side of electric meter which carries power to the main service panel can be wired either directly to the panel or to an interim disconnect. To accomplish it, the ends of the 2 hot load wires are stripped and connect to the bottom 2 load terminals on the meter. Number 4, connecting the ground wire. The technician may run the grounding wire through a hollow metal conduit to the ground rod buried in the earth. The ground wire is connected to the ground terminal in the center of the meter, located next to the neutral terminal. The other end of the ground wire attaches to a ground rod via a fitting known as grounding lock. Lastly, connecting the neutral wire. To connect the neutral line and the load wire, the technician strips and attach these neutral wires to the top and bottom neutral terminals in the center of the meter box. Next, I pass to Salman.
Okay, thank you, Zarif. So, as my colleague has explained on the types and the connection, also the introduction, I will explain on how to read the electric meter. So, generally, the unit that are vital when we are reading the meter are the energy, electrical energy, which is the unit is in kilowatt hour, kWh. But there are also meters that are readable in to read the reactive energy and the maximum demand. The reactive energy is in unit of kVARH. So there are 3 kinds of meter, like explained by Haris Nasri. The first one is dielectric meter. These are the first meter. They have a own unique way of reading it. The way of reading it is by adding up each digit of decimal point. And for analog and digital, for the two of them, they have a similar way to read, but they are separated to two kinds: the single phase meter and three-phase meter. So for single phase meter, the only display shown is the energy, the kilowatt hour unit. It will show the energy consumption by the consumer, and it is true for both analog and digital. And for three-phase meter, we can read more than the power consumption. We can read the kVRH, the reactive energy, and the maximum demand. And there are also other kind of scale. So the display will scroll to each display around 10 seconds. To read the power consumption, you may scroll, press the button, or you would wait for each display to move along. That's all. I will pass on to Yusuf for the conclusion.
Okay, thank you to all members. So, okay, thank you. So now we had reached the conclusion that the electricity meter is a very important equipment in the power system. So it is used to, just like they said, to monitor the performance of power factor and for billing purposes, which is to check the consumption of electrical energy of the customer. So for the advancement of the technology, we have also seen the smart meter, which is can be monitored by everyone, anywhere and anytime. I think with this advancement pace, we can reach the smart grid in a short period, which is everyone can contribute to the grid with this technology of electrical meter. So that's all from us. Thank you very much.